Yeah. All right. Let's see. We've got. Yep, we're going. That's fine. Just double check all of my different windows and bits and bobs. Mhm. Righty. So, um, it's not been a great first half of the week or so for science. Actually, hang on. I should probably hit the recording button before I run ahead. There we go. Yeah, it's not been a great week for science, for the past few days. Uh, you know, let's start with the obvious, not even an elephant in the room, really. Uh, Trump and RFK's big announcement. We're getting Autism 2, Electric Boogaloo. I saw some clips from this. It's amazing. Yeah, I've seen a little bit. I've mostly seen what Trump says, which is superb. It's honestly every single speech he does now at this point, it feels like he's one-upping his previous performance in how dementia brained, riddled it seems he is going. I mean, if that's the act that we're trying to achieve, then we're fucking hitting we're hitting what Logies, the Globes, the Emmys, whatever it is, he's got it. Let me make sure it's not going too loud. Maybe even a bit too quiet. I've been waiting for the new autism patch notes for ages now. Ah, so true. Oh, we coming out? Maybe. Oh, here we go. Take two.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, you might have to be max volume.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now we can bring it down.
So I've been waiting for this meeting for 20 years, actually. And it's not that everything's 100%.
I love the idea that Trump thought, what, since 2005 has been like, we gotta figure this shit out, man.
Understood or known, but I think we've made a lot of strides. Wish it was done a long time ago. Today, we're delighted to be joined by America's top medical and public health professionals as we announce historic steps to confront the crisis of autism. Horrible, horrible crisis. I want to thank the man who brought this issue to the forefront of American politics along with me. And we actually met in my office.
Fuck you, ad.
Of Health, Dr. Jay Bhattacharya, FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty
Fucking
McCary.
Stance
These
is
are great
amazing.
people.
True, he does look like he's a Roblox character, but if you notice here,
Administrator of the Centers
there's a
for
little
Medicine
tremor.
and Medicaid Services, Dr. Mehmet Oz, and Acting Assistant Secretary of HHS, Dr. Dorothy Fink. So thank you all. Thank you, Dorothy, very
We're
much.
running through the names at the
The
moment.
meteoric rise in autism is among the most alarming public health developments in history. There's never been anything like this. Just a few decades ago, 1 in 10,000 children had autism. So that's not a long time. And I've always heard, they say a few, but I think it's a lot less time than that. It used to be 1 in 20,000, then 1 in 10,000. And I would say that's probably 18 years ago. And now it's 1 in 31, but in some areas it's much worse than that, if you can believe it. 1 in 31. And I gave numbers yesterday. For boys, it's 1 in 12. I was told that's in California where they have for some reason, a more severe problem.
1 in 12. I mean, hey, it could be true. It could be true. They are very woke over there in Cali.
But whether it's
Woke.
1 in 12 or 1 in
Autism does
31,
mean
can you
woke.
imagine? That's down from 1 in 20,000, then 1 in 10,000. And now we're at the level of 1 in 12 in some cases for boys, 1 in 31 overall. So since 2000, autism rates have surged by much more than 400%. Instead of attacking those who ask questions, everyone should be grateful for those who are trying to get the answers to this complex situation. And the first day all of these great doctors behind me were there, I told them this is what we have to find out. Because when you go from 20,000 to 10,000 and then you go to 12,
How could it happen?
there's something artificial.
Something
They're taking
artificial.
something.
They're doing
And
something.
by the way, I think I can say that there are certain groups of people that don't take vaccines and don't take any pills that have no autism. That have no autism. Does that tell you something? That's currently. Is that a correct statement, by the way?
There are some studies that suggest that, yeah, with the Amish, for example.
The Amish.
The Amish.
Yeah, virtually. I hear no. I heard none. See, Bobby.
The Amish. Hey guys, have you ever heard about any autism folks among the Amish? Is there any? Yeah, if only we were more like the Amish. That's what Donald Trump is wanting for everyone. That's the true American dream that he's trying to rebuild for everyone.
He wants to be very careful with what he says, and he should, but I'm not so careful with what I say. But you have certain groups. The Amish, as an example, they have essentially no autism. First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of
Amish gang.
well, let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Acetaminophen. Is that okay?
Oh yeah,
Which
that's
is
right. He couldn't pronounce the names of the drugs. He couldn't even pronounce their names. I don't know which one he's particularly trying to go for, but I'm pretty sure it's like an amphetamine or something.
basically commonly known as Tylenol
Oh yeah, and then he calls out Tylenol.
during pregnancy can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary. That's, for instance, in cases of extremely high.
Just so it's understood what Tylenol is, because you might be like, I've never heard of that. That could be like a scary ingredient or whatever. So Tylenol is the brand name. That's not the actual drug. Um, I think one of these was what he was trying to pronounce earlier, or maybe it was this one. But it's, from what I'm seeing here, it's to treat fever and mild to moderate pain. As you see here, paracetamol. So it's a non-opioid painkiller. And oh, can you take it when you're pregnant? Is an appropriate medication to treat pain and fever during pregnancy. So I'm gonna ain't it paracetamol? Well, apparently it basically is. Other than that, maybe it's like a option other than um, paracetamol. It can. Oh well, there you go. So in the case if you're pregnant, you don't want to take ibuprofen, apparently. But yep, Tylenol is the recommended pain reliever during pregnancy. However, because I guess we can't go the route of it's the vaccines that are causing autism. We've decided instead we're just going to go straight for painkillers, which is a really interesting approach. I don't know why that's. The other thing as well is like because they're saying Tylenol, like that's the brand as opposed to the drug, because the drug is this from the looks of it, acetaminophen. I mean, hey, look, man, me and Trump both, we don't know these drugs. Um, but Tylenol could like actually sue them back, the company.
High fever, that you feel you can't tough it out, you can't do it. I guess there's that. It's a small number of cases, I think. But if you can't tough it out, if you can't do it, that's what you're going to have to do. You'll take a Tylenol, but it'll be very sparingly.
To be fair,
It can be something that's very dangerous to the woman.
everyone in America calls everything by brand names. I mean, yeah, true. Like and we do the same in Australia. Eskies weren't actually like Esky was the name of the brand. Band-Aid is the name of the brand. I'm sure there's other things.
Women's health. In other words, a fever that's very, very dangerous, and ideally a doctor's decision, because I think you
You have
shouldn't
to
take it.
put up with
And you
the
shouldn't take it
fever.
during the entire pregnancy. They may tell you
Put
that
up
toward
with
the
it.
end of the pregnancy, you shouldn't take it during the entire. And you shouldn't give the child the Tylenol every time he's born, and he goes and
Hey, bro, saying a pregnant woman has to tough it out is absolutely disgusting. No, man, that's pro-life advocacy for you right there. That's what that is. Hey, look, we didn't say it had to be comfortable for you. It had to be comfortable for the child. Now, we don't want them to get autistic now, do we?
has a shot, you shouldn't give a Tylenol to that child. All pregnant women should talk to their doctors for more information about limiting the use of this medication while pregnant. So ideally, you don't take it at all. But if you can't tough it out, if there's a problem, you're going to end up doing it. The other thing that I can tell you that I'll say that they will maybe say at a little bit later date. But I think when you go for the shot, you do it over a 5 time period. Take it over 5 times or 4 times, but you take it in smaller doses and you spread it out over a period of years. And they pump so much stuff into those beautiful little babies. It's a disgrace. I don't see
This is straight up hands, mail, tail, rip. Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, it pretty much is. I mean, obviously, then when you combine it with their anti-abortion approach, like I like that it's literally they're trying in their head they can only they see it as anything that deviates from the natural means of having birth or that whole process, something along that, if there's any interruption, any influence from the external world or whatever, therefore that could be the cause of whatever problems your kid has, whether they're gay, autistic, or I don't know. But like, uh, but it's crazy because what they're going back to, what it seems like they want to go back to. I think it's funny that they mentioned the Amish thing because it's like they basically just want to go back to caveman style, fucking giving birth in like a manger, hoping to high hell that you're not gonna die in the process. Fucking hell.
it. I don't. I think it has. I think it's very bad. They're pumping. It looks like they're pumping into a horse. You have a little child, little fragile child, and you get a vat of 80 different vaccines, I guess.
Yeah, they're just pumping it into like they're a horse. What the fuck? I want I we Something that frustrates me is that they only no one expects Trump to like visually demonstrate anything. He gets to choose to visually demonstrate things if he wants to, like when he brings out his tariff fucking bullshit billboards or whatever. But he's never expected to visually like demonstrate anything, and so he gets to just talk on and on and on about about anything, and people just go, "Yep, yep, I've seen that. I saw that on YouTube somewhere." And it's like I want him to show us the video of the apparent baby being pumped full of uh, vaccines like they're a horse. I want to see this, and you point to it with a red dot light thing, or like a cane or whatever, and just go, "Yep, that's what's happening there."
80 different blends, and they pump it in. So
Employers see tons of resumes every day
Cunt.
and don't have time to
I don't see it. I don't. I think it has. I think it's very bad. They're pumping. It looks like they're pumping into a horse. You have a little child, little fragile child, and you get a vat of 80 different vaccines, I guess, 80 different blends, and they pump it in. So ideally, a woman won't take Tylenol. And on the vaccines, it would be good instead of one visit where they pump the baby loaded up with stuff. You'll do it over a period of 4 times or 5 times. I mean, I've been so into this issue for so many years just because I couldn't understand how a thing like this could happen. And you know it's artificially induced. It's not like
He's been paying attention to all the hot button issues regarding the autism and the pumping the kids full of vaccines like they're a horse.
something
Can't
that
turn this down.
when you go from all of those, healthy babies to a point where I don't even know structurally if a country can afford it. And that's the least of the
Yeah, cool.
problems. To have families destroyed over this is just so terrible. I also, and we've
He would
already
know.
done this, we want no mercury in the vaccine. We
There, I did see that someone sort of, I don't know how serious the joke was, but someone did point out that like, hey, you've been paying attention to this for 20 years. Hey, are you referring to Baron, his son? Like, is Baron an autistic kid? Which I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he is. Apparently, he's always bloody watching like manosphere shit. So that wouldn't even be surprising to me. Um,
We want no aluminum in the vaccine.
Aluminum.
The MMR, I think, should be taken separately. This is based on what I feel the
We've come full circle, folks. We've come full circle. It's now literally, I feel like this is the better way to do things. Before it was like they would try and word it in a way that would mask that that was ultimately what was going on, and you would have to try and like go go about the dance of trying to get them to admit that it's that they're not basing it off any scientific um, at all basis or whatever. Uh, 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 but now they're so well basically because the Republican Party is just I mean they're just fascism now, so they know they don't have to worry about fuck all uh, uh, retaliation. They can just be like, yeah, no, I just feel like you shouldn't take that vaccine. That one's probably I just feel like that one's not really worthwhile. You know, ladies, I feel like you could probably tough it out during the pregnancy if you get a fever. You know, I feel like it.
mumps, measles,
Oh,
all the three should be taken separately. And it seems to be that when you mix them, there could be a problem.
oh,
So there's
that's right. That's right, because some of these fucking wackos think it's like, oh no, it's not necessarily that you give them the hepatitis B and the this and the that vaccine. It's the fact that you hit them all with it all at once. It's like it like confuses the brain, and by doing that, they become autistic. I don't know how, like,
no downside in taking them separately. In fact, they think it's better, so let it be separate. The chicken pox is already separate because when that got mixed in, I guess they made it four for a while, it really was bad. So they make chicken pox. Individually, they're okay. When you mix them, something maybe happens. So there's no
maybe.
downside in doing it. It's not like, oh, if you do it, bad things. No, it's only good side. And it may not have that much of an impact, but it may have a big impact. So let those be taken separately. And then hepatitis B is sexually transmitted.
Oh God.
There's no reason to give a baby that's almost just born hepatitis B. So I would say wait till
He would know, wouldn't he? He would know not to give a baby hepatitis B. Oh.
the baby is 12 years old and
Ah,
formed and take
prime age.
hepatitis B. And I think if you do those things, it's going to be a whole different, it's going to be a revolution in a positive sense in the country. The FDA will be updating the label of an existing drug to reflect potential benefits in reducing some autism symptoms. This gives hope to the many parents with autistic children that it may be possible to improve their lives. That's one of the things that
Uh, I guess I haven't been, around the block enough paying attention to what your average parent with an autistic kid is like. But is it that bad? Is it really this bad that like it's an epidemic of like an autism crisis that homes all across America and Australia and like the whole planet absolutely ripped to shreds because of autism? It's just
I'm very, very happy about. I mean, this was mostly going to be on how not to have the child affected, but
Imagine bringing your side project to life.
potential benefits in reducing some autism.
let's speed this
NIH
guy
will
up.
be announcing 13 major grant awards from the Autism Data Science Initiatives. And to be honest with you, to me, that's the least important. It's not even a money thing at this point. There's so much money, but they have to do, and they have to move quickly. When the alternative is that nothing bad can happen, let's do it now. I was just saying to Bobby and the group, let's do it now. Nothing bad can happen. It can only good happen. But with Tylenol, don't take it. Don't
Don't
take it.
take it.
And if you
Don't take it. It doesn't matter if you're pregnant. Just tough it out.
can't live, if your fever is so bad, you have to take one because there's no alternative to that. Sadly, first question, what can you take instead? It's actually, there's not an alternative.
This is like actually like besides the autism fucking whatever shit. Because, our boy here loves some creative license, but this is like really bad to be telling people who would predominantly be, I guess, like women, pregnant women. It's really bad to tell them not to take fucking this, like a painkiller that only works or is only safe while they are pregnant.
To that. And as you know, other of the medicines are absolutely proven bad. I mean, they've been proven bad with the aspirins and the Advils and others, right? And they've been proven bad. So I'd like to ask Bobby to get up to the podium
Oh,
and
here we
say a
go.
few
Here we
words,
go.
and then Dr. Bhattacharya and
The peak
Dr.
of human
McCary,
health
Dr. Oz,
himself.
Dr. Fink, followed by two incredible mothers that have experienced firsthand what this country is going through, what parts of the world are going through. And I
Probably gonna
will say
skip
there are
through a
parts
lot
of the
of
world
these
that
other
don't take
guys.
Tylenol. I mean, there's a rumor, and I don't know if it's so or not, that Cuba, they don't have Tylenol because they don't have the money for Tylenol, and they have virtually no autism. Okay, tell me about that.
No autism. It is purely Tylenol. That is all that is doing it. Oh, people actually believe this.
One. And there are other parts of the world where they don't have Tylenol, where they don't have autism. That tells you a lot.
Doesn't
And I
it?
want to say it right now. And you know the way I look at it, don't take it. Don't take it.
Don't take it.
There's no downside in not taking it. So I'd like to ask Bobby to come up and say a few words. I hope I didn't ruin his day, but that's the way I feel. I've been very strong on this subject for a long time. You know, life is common sense too. And there's a lot of common sense in this, and I wish things like this were brought up. And this group has worked so hard on it, but I'd like to be a little bit more, a little speedier in the process of a recommendation because there's no harm in going quicker. There's absolutely no harm. At worst, there's no harm. Thank you very much, Bobby, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. To meet the president's challenge, I ordered HHS.
Jesus fuck. He also, I swear, is getting worse every time. But it's like a gradual. Like it's one of those like you only notice it 1 month apart or 3 months apart, where like the gravel becomes more gravelly.
To launch an unprecedented all-agency effort to identify all causes of autism,
How?
including toxic and pharmaceutical.
How? Because like I put in the fucking stream title like we live in an unserious universe, and this was more than anything what I was getting at. How are we supposed to take this shit seriously? He literally is the crypt keeper, and sounds like his lungs are giving up on him, and he's telling everyone how they can live more healthier.
Exposures. At President Trump's urging, NIH, FDA, CDC, and CMS are turning over every stone to identify the etiology of the autism epidemic and how patients and parents can prevent and reverse this alarming trend. We have broken down the traditional silos that have long separated these agencies, and we have fast-tracked research and guidance. Historically, NIH has focused almost solely on politically safe and entirely fruitless research about the genetic drivers of autism. And that would be like studying the genetic drivers of lung cancer without looking at cigarettes. And that's what NIH has been doing for 20 years. As a result, we don't have an answer to this critical question, despite the cataclysmic impact of the epidemic on our nation's children.
Like it's actually painful. Let's see if I can skip ahead.
Hello,
Hello.
Alan here.
studies that show no association for fevers and pain in pregnancy by prescribing the lowest effective dose for the shortest necessary duration and only when treatment is required. Furthermore, thanks to the politicization of science, the safety of acetaminophen against the risk of neurodevelopmental disorders in young children has
Can I thought I was going to be able to actually handle this, but I was wrong. Can you really go? How can you start talking about politicizing science and how that is a bad thing when you're standing right next to the president who has politicized fucking climate change? I mean, granted, it was already politicized by the fucking right wing, but like, ah, science is dead. We live in a faith-based world now. That's what it is. We live in a time, we live in a dark age. We live in
never
a dark
been
age.
validated. Prudent medicine, therefore, suggests caution in acetaminophen use by young children, especially since strong evidence also has associated it with liver toxicity. Some studies have also found the use of acetaminophen in children can potentially prolong viral illnesses. FDA will drive new research to safeguard mothers, children, and families. In addition to
I can't.
continuing to investigate a multiplicity of potential causes with no areas
How long does he talk for? Oh, okay, he ends about there. Let's just jump. Let's jump to about near the end. Let's
vaccines
get away from
has
this.
been actively suppressed in the past. It will take time for an honest look at this topic by scientists. But I want to reassure the people in the autism community that we will be uncompromising and relentless in our search for answers. We will
That's another thing as well. They almost always, no, I'll just say always talk about autism in the sense of like, we're really concerned about the parents of autistic children. They only ever care about the families of autistic people, not the autistic people themselves. And there seems to be I can't help but notice that no one's fucking asking them how they feel about this whole thing. And it's just a lot of like, let's be honest, boohoo, like hippie, bohemian, wealthy fucking Karen mums who are just scared that their kid's gonna, you know, with autism gonna be like stupid or something.
perform the studies that should have been performed
Embarrassment.
25 years ago. Whatever the answer is, we will tell you what we find. We are researching this issue to all three agencies. Jay will discuss one of our research initiatives at NIH. This model of unleashing unbiased, depoliticized, gold standard scientific research and academic freedom.
Like, do they listen? Do they allow him to talk much behind the doors, or do they also just want him to shut up? You know, like it makes me wonder this. These are the questions I wonder more often than like the pressing political issues. Like I'm just confused. Like why are you letting him be the spokesperson for this shit? Why not like Oz of all things sounds a lot better when talking about anything. He just doesn't sound like a gravel road. Is he almost done? Almost. And I think it's Oz right after. That
To
was
deliver
great.
actionable information to prevent and reverse disease will be a model for the framework to deliver similar results for many other chronic conditions that plague Americans. Jay?
Oh, it's this guy.
Thank you, Secretary Kennedy.
Oh, what?
Thank you, President Trump.
Thank you very much.
Oh, of course, of course. We got through that. I want to skip to Oz because
Shopping for anything in particular?
he always grabs my interest when he's doing charlatan
To
snake
deliver
oil shit.
actionable
Oh, Donald Trump comes back up at some point. That'll be good. Oh, here we go. So about there.
Today. Thank you, Mr. President.
Good, thank you.
Here we go.
Thanks,
The
Marty. I
Oz.
think you all appreciate the passion in the president's voice. We've been hearing that since the inauguration. In fact, even before the inauguration, the president was upset about what he spoke to today. And so, together with Secretary Kennedy, who's made it his life's work to address some of these challenges with autism, they challenged us. In fact, they were harsher than that. They want
Hang on, we don't want to talk about his other life's work, like the whole climate change, fighting environmentally destructive companies, oil. Nah, nah, that would be a bit inconvenient. That would be almost like talking about politicized science.
wanted no silos to break down what the NIH would do, what the FDA would do, what CMS would do. They insisted that the physician leaders bust through the clutter because their agencies had the power. If we didn't do what every other prior administration had done, which is to let people function within their siloed environments. Because of that, in historic fashion and a very accelerated manner, we have a response today to the autism crisis. It is the first of several chapters, but this is breaking news. You've heard some of it. The response to the autism crisis is going to continue to come to you under Secretary Kennedy's leadership, and the president wouldn't have it.
I've noticed something has changed in American, I guess like public relations talk. Uh, I remember I'm kind of stealing a George Carlin bit here, but there's a whole George Carlin bit about how it was like in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, every social issue in America had to be approached like fighting a war. There was a war on poverty, a war on drugs, a war on pollution, like air pollution, war on carbon, war on lead. It was a war. It always had to be a war. And, and I kind of noticed that they've taken that out. I don't know if that actually, like, before, like, it never really meant they did anything beforehand, but it at least felt better.
Any other
Felt
ways.
more
You've heard
interesting.
the FDA, based on NIH research, is approved.
Like, now it's just a crisis. It's a crisis. That's what I was trying to get at before. Like, before it was, we're declaring a war on autism. But now we have an autism crisis. And I've also now switched it where the primary word is at the beginning now. It's an autism crisis as opposed to a war on autism. I don't know.
Approving prescription leucovorin for treatment of autistic children. Now, if you're following the script, there should be two questions that you have, two questions that should come to your mind. The first is, how will patients and parents get access to the treatment? I'll tell you how. Over half of American children are covered by Medicaid and CHIP, government health insurance, over half. And therefore, because they're covered in Medicaid and CHIP, upon this label change by Marty, state Medicaid programs in partnership with CMS will cover prescription leucovorin around the country. It's yours, but you have to go to a doctor to get a prescription because they know your child, they know you, and they know the medication. States will also have tools to monitor its use and ensure appropriate utilization. That's important for a bunch of reasons because we want the right kids getting the right prescription medications. We believe private insurance companies will rapidly follow our lead if they have not already done so. And again, to make sure that this is safe and effective treatment, you need a physician to prescribe the medication because it's on prescription. Second big question. How are we going to collect clinical data to answer the big questions that the president's asking and the secretary insists that we offer? CMS is also issuing guidance to convene states.
Hang on. Sorry. I have no idea why, but my just pausing because my live chat thing wasn't working properly, and so I've actually completely missed the last few messages. I'm so sorry about that. Let me just see. He would know all about pumping kids. Yeah. Hey, if there's anyone I trust to know about pumping kids, I'm not going to finish that. I mean, I've got an ocean between me and the Americans, but free speech only goes so far. This is a side note, but according to American Christian TikTok, yes, the rapture thing. I was going to actually be having a look at that in a bit. Don't worry, we were going to look at some stuff about that because it's very funny. Um, I want to know what's going on. I want to know when are we going to get picked up by the rapture? Because being in Australia, it's different time zones. Where does it start first and when, I guess? I think when they hear autism, they just think low functioning, nonverbal autism that needs constant care. Forgetting some guys just love trains and don't like talking to people. Yeah. I mean, yeah. People have made their comments and observations about Trump having. Look, he definitely special interest maxes. I mean, every single fucking political issue he seems to talk about is really just a special interest of his when it seems like it. Um, so yeah, I definitely agree. I think when they think of autism and autistic people, they are just remembering that one kid that they went to school in when they were young, and that kid went to like the special ed class or something like that, and they think now the whole country of America's just uh got like roaming autism gangs or some shit. I don't know.
And existing research networks to support NIH and FDA in their research efforts of prescription leucovorin, while also maintaining the privacy of all patients, all health information of our beneficiaries. Collecting real-world data, which is what many of you have been asking us to do in the community, is fast, it is life-saving, and we'll get answers based on what happens over the next few months with this approach. The aggressive approach, and it is aggressive, demanded by the president and by the secretary, have already identified risk factors and opened the door for the first FDA-recognized treatment pathway for autism. It is the first of its kind, and it wouldn't have happened without the leadership of the president and the secretary. The fivefold increased prevalence of autism over the past 25 years demands a rapid response. The average clinician, researcher, we spoke to many, thought it would take 5 years to get this data. Parents are unwilling to wait 5 years. The president is unwilling to wait 5 years for these results. So the president and the secretary are acting today with this tri-agency move. The administration's bold actions investing in groundbreaking research follow the science. They restore trust, which has been lacking, and they will change the trajectory for millions of American families. Mr. President, God bless you for being brave. Let me introduce Dr. Fink.
Ugh. They're all just chat GPT to him. They're all just chat GPT. They all just suck his fucking dick.
Fink was acting administrator, and after Dr. Fink, we've got some wonderful women, Jackie and Amanda. I know it's going to be tough, but if you can make some comments about this historic day, God bless you.
Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry. The women.
You've got a big new website.
Yeah, the women who apparently their lives have been absolutely wrecked to pieces and ruined thanks to the autism again. Once again, I can't wait to hear what they have to say.
Change the trajectory for millions of. Dr. Fink, we've got some wonderful women, Jackie and Amanda. I know it's going to be tough, but if you can make some comments about this historic day, God bless you.
Do you think they're going to like pull out from behind that door their kid? And he's like the most worst example of autism. Like the, not to be offensive, but like the most low functioning. And it's like, yep, this is every single autistic kid I've come across. They're just always like Bob here. They just point to RFK.
Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity to speak with all of you today. As a pediatrician and mom, I'm here today to talk about what this announcement means for the millions of moms and dads who are faced with the choice of whether to take acetaminophen during pregnancy. It's hard to hear information that challenges the status quo. We are sharing this information not to confuse, but to empower parents to make the best choices when taking medications during pregnancy. We are all concerned about the rising rates of neurodevelopmental disorders, including autism. President Trump and Secretary Kennedy are dedicated to radical transparency so that patients have the best, most up-to-date information. We are also sharing this information with our nation's doctors, and we encourage you, as always, to consult with your doctor to make the best decision for you. All too often, it's easy to think that medicines we buy without a prescription pose little to no risk for the mom or the baby. As you heard today, pregnant women who need high fever or pain reduction during pregnancy should take the lowest effective dose of acetaminophen for the shortest possible duration. Most women will not meet these indications during their pregnancies. I am encouraged by these developments today because it is another example of our commitment to the American people to leave no stone unturned in improving the health of our nation's children. Next, I'm going to turn it over to some incredible mothers who are going to share more about their
now we get
stories,
the
and we're so
mothers.
grateful to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President and team, for all your work. This is an historic day, and I'm thankful to be here. I have a son who's 5 who is profoundly autistic, and you've probably heard if you've met one autistic child, you've met one autistic child. It's a spectrum, which
Wait, I need to go back on what she just said then.
this is an historic day, and I'm thankful to be here. I have a son who's 5 who is profoundly autistic, and you've probably heard if you've met one
Talk about just straight up outing your son. Oh my god, his friends are going to be watching this, or their parents, and he's going to get bullied. Oh no. Profoundly autistic. Profoundly. What an interesting use of words to choose. Profoundly.
autistic child, you've met one autistic child.
She hates this. You think she hates this, or do you think she's in on it? Because, like, that's the thing. There's a lot of these mothers who are fucking crazy. They are crazy. Like, I mean, keep in mind they've been looped into the Trump shit. They've been looped into the to the MAGA group. You know, I mean, maybe she does hate it. Look at all these very caring and concerned individuals surrounding her, listening to her.
It's a spectrum, which I don't think the spectrum is helpful, but that's another conversation.
Oh,
Um,
jeez.
he is an amazing little boy, a blessing from God.
Oh God.
We don't like to show
No,
off.
fuck you.
Autistic, and you've probably heard if you've met one autistic child, from God. He's marvelous. He can count to 1,000. He knows all of his letters and the sounds they make and a word for each one.
So what's the problem? I don't understand. Where?
But he also has a lot of obstacles.
Oh, here we go.
He is nonverbal. He can say those numbers and letters, but there's no communication. Unless you've lived with profound autism, you have no idea. You have no idea. He, like you said, he will get frustrated because he can't speak. It's not even that he can't speak. Sometimes he just doesn't understand what I'm saying. He understands the word no, but he doesn't understand the why behind the no. And that's a huge part of discipline. That's the discipline. So it's very hard to discipline a child with autism.
Never mind, she hates her kid. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. That's the thing we have to keep in mind, because like they're like, because even though the right wing are fed off of like hate and rage and you know, disgust of others, like they obviously also want to uphold the gender balance idea of where like the mother is the loving and caring one. So even when they have to try and portray themselves as loving and caring, you can kind of make out like, geez, this mother doesn't give a fuck. Like, it just sounds like these are inconveniences to her. Honestly, this should be a conversation. Like, what she's saying right now should be, like, said to a therapist or something. Like, we shouldn't be bringing her out on national television.
So you have these behaviors, and it's a very hopeless feeling. It's very isolating being a parent with a profound autistic child. Even just taking them over to your friend's house is something we just don't do because, again, they're going to be met with no, 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 and no understanding of why. And then there's a meltdown. And then you're in a situation where you're just helpless and you're just trying to protect your kid.
Let's be real. This is just an inconvenience to her.
So it's just better not to do it. You learn your
Yeah.
limits.
Why
And it's been
try?
really hard. This is amazing that we're here today. And
Where's
I
he?
can't, no one has been able to point to anything to say this is what caused it. And you can't point to that and say it didn't cause it. I have no idea. I'm completely open, not blaming anything,
We know.
but I'm open to the discussion and the fact that there's work being done to find answers. I'm very grateful. I was already excited to vote for Mr. Trump anyway, Mr. President. But when we got word of RFK doing his work, I was ecstatic.
Yep, when I found out that my lovely Mr. President Donald Trump was also willing to help me and my autistic child, well, let's just say it made my vote for him because I wanted to get rid of the Mexicans a lot more convincing.
I could not wait for this work to be done, that somebody would try to find us some answers. I'm just very grateful. I pray for my son every day and hope that he can get the help that he needs.
I do too.
Just thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So where does the Tylenol come in? I'm really confused. Sorry, are we getting autism too? Is there patch notes? Did we discover the cause? Are we just hearing lovely stories? Well, sad stories, I guess, from mothers. I'm so... It's a humiliation ritual that we're all forced to be a
Hi,
part
my
of.
name's Jackie. I'm also extremely grateful for the opportunity to be here and share my son's story. My son is Eddie. He's 11. He's on the opposite end of the spectrum from what Amanda just explained. He's considered high functioning. He
Here
was
we
not
go.
always high functioning. He was nonverbal till the age 4. We've had quite
That's not entirely uncommon.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name.
Imagine trying to build an app.
extremely grateful for the opportunity to be here. Finally listening to moms who have been crying out for help, for answers for years. I've met so many other moms with children on the spectrum in the 9 years since my son's diagnosis, and they all have very similar stories. And they've all just wanted somebody to listen, to not ridicule them or look at them like they were the crazy
Sorry.
people. It's
Who's ridiculed the mothers in the past? I don't actually... I don't remember that being a thing. Maybe it is. I've always interpreted it being more like, oh, it must be so hard to be that, to be a mother to an autistic child. Like it always seems to be more in the exact same thing they're doing right now, which is uh, uh, providing care and support to the mother, but then sort of going, "Oi, child, time to sort your shit out."
It's hard when you don't have doctors that take the time to really listen and find out when the change happened and what change happened. And it's just, I've been praying for this day for 9 years, and I'm so thankful to God for bringing the administration into our lives. And I'm speechless. This day is a day I never thought would happen. I thought that we would never have an administration that was courageous enough to look into things that no prior administration had. So I'm just here to express my gratitude, and I am looking forward to what...
Mind you, because the thing that RFK mentioned at the beginning being like, well, this is basically what the approach has been towards autism. It was it's in a nutshell very similar to thinking like, okay, how do we deal with lung cancer, but never considering tobacco cigarettes, which I find a really interesting example that he gives, because the reason why for decades, we never truly understood the impact that it had on lung cancer and other issues is because of the corporations selling the tobacco, funding fake studies and lobbying politicians. So, like, where is big autism in all of this? Where is like the big four autismo companies or whatever it is that is like apparently purposely sidetracking the government, the department on properly studying this? Because they always say like, oh yeah, there's we there's some like there's artificial reasons for this happening, so therefore it has to be because of people, in one way or another, whether it's intentional or not. And then they jump to all these extremes of like, yeah, and the government isn't looking into it, and like set it up to be this big conspiracy about how the vaccines aren't being looked into properly or that they're being purposely fucked with. Like that's the whole other thing. There's the two different anti-vaxxers, the type who just think they're kind of like unintentionally doing it, sort of, and then there's the anti-vaxxers who go real extreme, who go like, nah, the government's intentionally putting like fluoride into the vaccine so that when you inject it, it like shrivels your body or some shit. Uh, they they set up this whole conspiracy. I think Tylenol just forget to pay their monthly protection. Hey man, like that's what I guess it is, you know. That's what it's kind of. Yeah, exactly. Their monthly protection payment to Chancellor Trump. Therefore, like this time, it's their turn to get the shit ripped out of them verbally, like as if like last week, you know, ABC forgot to pay them, and that's why he was hammering them and all that shit. Is that how this is going to work now? It's just, it really, I mean, they are running the government like a mob. Or Johnson and Johnson rather. Yeah, whatever it is. I just, I hope you understand what I'm getting at because it's very confusing what point they're trying to get at, even if you are under the assumption what they're saying is correct, which it's not. How inconvenient. But putting truth to the side, I just want to know who they think is causing it. Like, who at the end of the day is the real big bad actor? Because it feels like they're just coming back down to just autism. Like, autistic kids.
Comes from this, and hopefully we just get more answers. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, here we go. Trumpy again. I only
So,
stuck it out just because we're going to get Trump again here. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. Oh God. It's a lot of Trump. It's a lot of
I
Trump.
want to say acetaminophen is basically Tylenol, essentially, because I noticed that term is used throughout this conference. So it's.
You said it! What? Yeah, I noticed that Tylenol got used quite often. I don't know what was happening during my speech. I mean, I don't know if I mentioned it at all, but you guys seem to be throwing that word around like crazy.
It's essentially Tylenol. And I just recommend strongly that you don't use Tylenol unless it's absolutely necessary. I understand it's maybe 10% of the women that are pregnant are, would perhaps be forced to use it. And that would mean you just can't tough it out. No matter what you do, you can't tough it out. So that's up to you and your doctor. But there's a very strong recommendation, maybe stronger from me than from the group because they're waiting for certain.
Yeah, guys, at the end of the day, it's between you, the pregnant lady, and your doctor. However, if you are looking for some other advice, some other recommendations, you have a whole room here filled with people with varying degrees of study who suggest, don't worry, tough it out, you can do it.
Studies, I just want to say, I want to say it like it is. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it.
Don't take it.
Just can't. I mean, it's fight like hell not to take
like
it.
Hell!
There may be a point where you have to, and that you'll.
Yeah, fight that baby that's on the inside of you like hell. You squeeze that motherfucker out as quick as you can so you can get out of that fever without having to take any Tylenol.
You have to work out with yourself, so don't take Tylenol.
But don't take Tylenol.
Other things that we recommend, or certainly I do anyway, is, and it's so important to me to see the doctor 4 times or 5 times for a vaccine. Don't let them pump your baby up with the largest pile of stuff you've ever seen in your life going into the delicate little body.
So, funnily enough, this reminds me of this is kind of plagiarism in a sense, but like who was it? Jim Jeffries, the Aussie comedian Jim Jeffries. He was in America and I mean he's always in America, isn't he? But he did a bit about his son who back when his son was like whoever old, like old enough to just get the first set of vaccines for whatever, and he had an argument with his wife because I think the wife didn't want him to be vaccinated. And he's like, no, no, he's got to be vaccinated. Because obviously here in Australia, before like 2020, the anti-vax thing was nowhere near what it was in America. Nowhere near. It was like Byron Bay, and that was it. Byron Bay and the hippies inland from there. So fair enough. And so, like in his story, Jim Jeffrey says he goes to the doctor. He has, I think his son's name's Hank or whatever, and he gets his kid vaccinated. But he wanted to do it quickly so that the wife wouldn't know because he just wanted to avoid the argument, basically. And so he actually had what would have been like it was supposed to be three then, or two then, and then another two and one, or something like that. And he basically had all five or six or whatever go at once. And later he goes like, yeah, I start noticing the next day that he seems autistic, and so he starts fearing about having autism. And basically the doctors tell him like, yeah, because you had six different needles jabbed into him, basically. It's not autism, he's just a bit daisy. He's just a bit drowsy from it all. Like, let him just sleep it off, he'll be fine. And the kid apparently just slept it off and he was fine. But he found out at the same time that he had autism. Not that the kid did, that Jim Jeffries did. So, like, my point being is maybe these people just need to wait a bit. Just wait. Just some patience. Fuck me, man.
You have a baby, even if it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, you just break it up into, I would say 5, but let's say 4. 4 visits to the doctor instead of 1.
Storage King has hassle-free storage.
And are in the process of taking out mercury and aluminum now. You know what mercury is, you know what?
Didn't we? I know a guy back home who goes to church with his family. He said once to his parents that if his wife died, the first thing he'd do is vaccinate his kids because his wife won't let him. Holy shit. Yeah, it's weird. I will say, I never, like, there wasn't many people who were like anti-vax back in the day, kind of thing, like before COVID. Back home in Queensland, not UK. Yeah, yeah. I figured you meant that. Yeah. Like, we never really had anti-vaxxers so much. It was just more so people who were like, they just were a bit uninformed and whatnot. It was a bit more innocent, I feel like. But even then, like, yeah, you would get it more where, like, it would be like the husband and the wife, like, it would never come up until it finally did. But now, it's kind of, you have to take into consideration when you, like, go on a date with someone.
What aluminum is? Who the hell wants that pumped into a body?
Who wants that?
And there were rumors about both of them for a long time, but we're having them taken out. We're having them taken out of the vaccines. Hepatitis B, again, that's sexually transmitted, and we think you should wait. I think you should wait till 12. You know, I'm just making these statements from me. I'm not making them from these doctors because when they talk about, you know, different results, different studies, I talk about a lot of common sense, and they have that too. They have that too, a lot. But I recommend the hepatitis B. Take it at 12. Sexually transmitted. You don't have to give it to the baby when the baby's 2 years old. And there are a lot of theories on that, but not when they're 12. It's not.
Sorry. I was just trying to remember. I don't remember like the numbers or whatever it was, but I remember there was something where a significant amount of Wait till he finds out about the iron they found instead. Oh, well, no, to be fair, he only really eats Macca's burgers, right? So maybe, like, maybe in his head, he thinks they're, like, specially taken that out. Um, I can't even remember what I was gonna say. Oh, shit.
Doesn't seem to be a problem at
Oh,
all.
yeah.
The
The hepatitis B thing, I heard something in relation to this where it turns out quite a large amount of kids get hepatitis B, like young, like not recently born, but like they get it through the breastfeeding. Like if their mother has hepatitis B, they'll get it through breastfeeding and whatnot. And so like there's a lot of reasons why you want to get a kid vaccinated on hepatitis B.
MMR and the chickenpox. Chickenpox has already been broken out. It's a singular shot, but the MMR is not. And I've heard for years that there's a problem with it, but they say that there's no problem.
Who would have thunk that for years you would have heard bad things about the I can't even remember how you say it, mRNA, or am I just thinking of nRNA? That vaccine tech, whatever. Who would have thunk you'd hear so much bad about it, considering the right-wing anti-vax fucking media sphere? Oh, don't you love it when enough time has passed where they can now reference their own bullshit, but as if they were completely uninvolved in it stirring up to begin with? That's when you realize that this is like, there's law. There's like actual law to this shit.
Problem if you do each shot separately, not put together. So an MMR, go out and do it separately. Don't take Tylenol. Don't give Tylenol to the baby after the baby's born. Every time the baby gets a shot, the baby
Wait,
goes.
so now the baby can't also have Tylenol. I'm getting even more confused. Who's not supposed to have the Tylenol? Because the Tylenol was really more, if I understand correctly, for women who are pregnant. Who cares about the baby at that point? They're out of the womb. Like, why am I asking questions? Like, this is where you run up against the issue where it doesn't matter how much free speech you have. You can say whatever you want, but there's no point to saying it because enough people believe him at this point that any questions you ask are just pointless. It's just all pointless.
Gets a shot, they say, here, take a cup of Tylenol. I've heard that for years. Take Tylenol. Don't take Tylenol. Don't have your baby take Tylenol. Now, Tylenol is fine for people that aren't pregnant, that aren't in the situation that we're talking about. One very specific.
But what about the kid then?
Situation. If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol.
Yeah.
When you have your baby, don't give your baby Tylenol at all, unless it's absolutely necessary. Don't do it. Break up your visits to the doctors. Break them up. Do it in 5 if you can. Now, it's inconvenient. It's inconvenient. Oh, you got to have to go back another year later. You're going to go back each year for 4 years, 5 years, 3 years. Just break it up. Break it up because it's too much liquid. Too many different things are going into that baby at too big a number. The size of this thing, when you look at it, it's like 80 different vaccines and beyond vaccines, and 80. And you give that to a little kid. I mean, I can tell you.
Oh,
that
yeah, they're just fucking running at the kid with 80 vaccines, one after the other. They actually just load it into a fucking dart gun and fire them off.
I had a woman who worked for me, a beautiful, wonderful woman, worked in Trump Tower. Too big a number. The size of this thing, when you look at it, it's like 80 different at the front desk. She was crying her eyes out. I've never, as much as I've ever seen anyone distraught, she was. I said, "Are you okay? What happened?" My boy, I've lost my boy. What does that mean, your boy? My boy, you know him, sir. You've seen him grow up. He was so beautiful. And I took him for a vaccine, sir.
Oh,
And he
we've heard
developed
this
this
story before.
unbelievable, I think she said 107, 108. You know, it goes well beyond when this happens. It goes up to 106, 107, 108. You know, we hear 105 and you're in trouble, but it just goes up to a level that you never hear about, but it goes up very high. And it's fried. They get fried. She said, I took him, he developed an unbelievable temperature. And I've lost him, sir. He's gone. And then I saw the boy. It was so tragic to see. That was the following day. After the vaccine. And I've seen it 2 other times, and I think 3 other times, but 2 other times, where they go to the doctor and they get the vaccine, they get the shot. The kid is, badly hurt. Let's be nice, badly hurt. And just do it. Break it up into 5, break it up into 4, break it up into 3 if you have to, but go to the doctor 4 times instead of once, or 5 times instead of once. And for some reason, they insist that you put it all into the body, and maybe that's the drug companies that make more money that way. Maybe it's the doctors because they don't want to be, doing this so much. Maybe it's the doctor.
How can you get so close to figuring out the causes of problems, and yet so far away? So far away. It's like you're watching in real time and like walking up to the target and then just going, whoop, never mind. Oh, let's go elsewhere. What the
Doctors,
fuck?
they get maybe more money. Who the hell knows what it is?
Who the hell knows?
Get them broken into 4 or 5 visits. Do it 4 or 5. That means you have 20%, 25% what you're putting into the baby's body. It can only help. And the other things I told you about, just the word tough it out. It's easy for me to say tough it out, but sometimes in life with a lot of other things, you have to tough it out also. Don't take Tylenol. Don't give Tylenol.
What? Oh, I don't understand what he wants us to do.
To the baby. When the baby's born, they throw it at you. Here, give him a couple of Tylenol. They give him a shot. They give him a vaccine. And every time they give them a vaccine, they're throwing Tylenol. And some of these babies, they're long born, and all of a sudden they're gone. And it doesn't hurt not to do it. It doesn't hurt. There's no downside. There's no downside at all. And break up MMR. Break it up. It's practically a known fact that if you break it up, you're not going to have a problem. But for years, we've been hearing how bad MMR is as a combination. And I'm very happy that you broke out chickenpox, because that was really a problem. And there are other things. It's interesting because there are other things, we were talking about it, other different drugs, pills that you take that we know are so bad and they don't take them anymore. But for some reason, with this, they keep taking it. Don't take Tylenol. There's no downside. Don't take it. You'll be uncomfortable. It won't be as easy, maybe, but don't take it. If you're pregnant, don't take Tylenol. And don't give it to the baby after the baby is born. And we have more than 3 years left. And I told Bobby and the doctors behind me, and they are so committed to this, I told them that this is the number one thing I want to do from you. And we have something else called Favored Nations, where I'm going to be reducing drug prices by 1,000%, by 900, 600, 500, 1,200. We're going to be reducing drug prices at levels never seen. It's called Favored Nations. We're going to be paying right now, we're like the garbage can for the rest of the world, or we have been for forever. We pay much higher for drugs than the rest of the world. We subsidize the rest of the world. We're not doing that anymore. And that's a big thing. That's a big thing. That's bigger than anything. I told the story the other night that I was so proud in my first term that for the final year, drug prices went down 0.25%. And I was so proud. I said, why? I'm the first one to do it. I think it was 28 years, they said, where drug prices went down from the beginning of the term to the end. And I was so proud. I called a news conference. I said, you know, drug prices have gone down. First time it's happened in 28 years. You know what it was? 0.25%. I was so proud. Now we're going to have them go down from $100 a pill to $9 a pill, from $1,300 for a shot of like an Ozempic or the fat.
Oh, why is there got to be so many goddamn ads?
First time it's happened in 28 years. You know, friends, they're fat. They said, yeah, I lost some weight. I said, you don't look it to me. But they paid $1,300, $1,200, and they go to London and they pay $88. And they call me, they go, what's this all about? We're subsidizing the rest of the world stupidly because we have a lot of stupid people in this country running things. And how big is that? But to me, that's nothing compared to autism. I see that gorgeous boy. I have a big present for him in the back. You know, you bring him back. We're going to bring him into the Oval Office. I have the best present he's ever going to get, okay? A big one. I saved it for you, okay? Because I heard you were coming. Look how beautiful he is. So...
Wait! Was that one of the autistic boys? Was that the point on that one?
That's it. There's nothing...
We're going to stop all the pumping into you. I'll show you how to pump.
Nothing much to say. Don't take Tylenol if you're pregnant. And don't give Tylenol to your child when he's born or she's born. Don't give it. Just don't give it. And we're going to have, I think, really, if you do all the things that I say, break it up. Just break it up. Break up the shots with the doctor. MMRs, as I told you, separate, separate, separate. Chickenpox already separate. You do these things. I'm telling you, I want to, when I leave office, I don't want to have, it's going to be the kind of number that we're hearing where it's 1 in 32 or 1 in 10, because I've heard 1 in 10 also. And in California, it's really bad. I want it to be, let's get it back to maybe 1 in 10,000 or 1 in 20,000 or maybe none in 20,000. And the only way you're going to do that, because this is artificially induced. This is induced by something. You don't go from 1 in 20,000 to 1 in 10,000, then to 1 in 10. That means you're taking something and something's wrong. And I feel very certain, and I know I'll be criticized. Someday they'll look back and they'll say, well, it wasn't, but I think it will. I think we're going to have a tremendous, this is the most important thing. There's nothing more important than me. Where you cured inflation that Biden
did he
gave
say
us,
there's
he
nothing
gave us
more
so
important than me? He's so real for that.
much inflation, the biggest, tremendous, this is the most important thing. There's nothing more important than me. Where you cured inflation that Biden gave us, he gave us so much inflation, the biggest ever in history.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, this is all we've heard this whole shit before. So yeah, autistic kids, be on the lookout, especially if you're in America. Otherwise, don't take Tylenol, I guess. Don't take Tylenol. It's bad for you. I don't know exactly why it's bad for you, but it's bad for you. So we got that covered. Whatever the fuck that's worth. Let me just pull up. Actually, I'm going to just take a brief toilet break. We'll be back. Sorry about that. All right. What were we looking at? What was I going to look at next? Um, oh yeah. So let me just. Okay, now we're properly back. Now we are back. I finally actually got to go to the toilet. Oh god, that was uncomfortable for a bit. And funnily enough, of all things to happen, I I turned the doorknob on the door of the bathroom to open it to come out, and the fucking doorknob came off. Thankfully, thankfully, I was able to just sort of stick it back on, and even though it wasn't screwed on, but like it was enough, I could push it in enough that I could then just twist it and open the door. I'll fix it later. Done it like a million times at this point. Oh god. So I actually want to do something a bit before we look at the rapture happening because we've got all day for the rapture to happen, so we better not, we don't want to jump ahead of ourselves just yet. I want to know. Uh, so thought I'd look at some more like smaller news stuff first. So still sticking in line with the whole, oops, don't want to get rid of that one. So still sticking in line with the whole like science is dead. Uh, we don't seem to believe in that anymore. It seems to just be fuck it, as long as we got faith, maybe something better will happen. So drug check drug checking services handed bitter pill as Queensland government rams through law changes. Basically, pill testing in Queensland is no longer being done. Crisafulli government has why the flavor text has stalled drug checking services in Queensland by ramming law changes through Parliament to ban them. So two checkpoint pill testing sites, one in Brisbane, the other on the Gold Coast. So we're talking two locations. Like, if anything, it would have been nice to have actually been able to expand these. Have more than just, for one, have more than just one in Brisbane and one in Gold Coast, but also have. Hello, there we go. Oh my God. Uh, for one, it'd be nice to have more of these across Brisbane and across Gold Coast, but also just more cities and whatnot. Reluctantly closed their doors in April after the government failed to renew funding. That was sort of the first sign of things going downhill. Uh, and the Brisbane clinic at Bowen Hills, right, so that's where it was, an inner northern suburb, was poised to reopen this month with private money, but that plan was scuttled after Deputy Premier Jared Belgie, I think, threatened to shut it down. Great. Not-for-profit organisation, the Loop Queensland, which was delivering the life-saving checkpoint services, said at the time it was delaying the return of the Brisbane site due to concerns about the safety and privacy of people who use the venue. But pill testing in Queensland, backed by the Australian Medical Association's state branch, is unlikely to resume anytime soon after the LNP government rushed through legal amendments to the Medicines and Poisons Act, banning drug testing across the state. So no more. The amendments prevent the Queensland Health Director General from granting or renewing substance authorities for the purpose of drug checking. Blatant political manoeuvring meant the amendments passed through Parliament without the scrutiny of the all-party parliamentary committee system. Parliamentary committee can summon. That's fun. Stage an 11-hour bid to get the government to meet with health experts and community stakeholders instead of rushing through the amendments without consultation. So they didn't even consult anyone regarding this. Of course. All we are asking is for a meeting with the government before they make irreversible legislative changes that could put Queensland lives at risk, said Cameron Francis. This is about respecting democratic process and evidence-based policy making. So yeah, I don't even feel like the need to even like do a whole, oh, let's show the evidence just to really prove our point that this stuff is good for you. Like it's been or good to be enacted. Like it's been found to be better. There is no reason to get rid of drug testing sites unless you objectively just want to see more drug addicts die. We're not asking for anything unreasonable, just a meeting to discuss the evidence before legislative changes are locked in. Taxpayers deserve transparency. Gonna make myself a little snack here. Data shows unexpected substances found. Data from Checkpoint's first year of operations to April this year shows the service tested 1,200 drug samples from almost 700 people. About 10% of the samples contained unexpected drugs. So that's 120 samples contained unexpected drugs. I'm just gonna Of 6 counterfeit tablets expected to be the pharmaceutical opioid oxycodone, 3 of them instead contained something else, potent synthetic opioids with a higher risk of overdose. 4 people died following a mass nitazene overdose in Melbourne last year. Oh, okay, so not something you want to have people just run around not knowing they have. Another tablet in the shape of a green teddy bear also tested positive, so okay. Accusing the LNP of championing ideology over Queensland's safety. Opposition leader Stephen Miles has called for a parliamentary inquiry into drug checking services. So there's Labor pushing against it. I imagine, I don't know off the top of my head, but I imagine Labor was, because Labor was obviously in before, they probably were gunning for these kind of things as their preventative measures. Outside of the far right of the LNP, just about everyone else agrees that pill testing saves lives, whether that's the Queensland police, experts, younger people, or parents. It's generally true. Everyone can see how pill testing helps connect people with health professionals and helps make sure that they're not taking substances that will kill them. To block something that can save lives because of an ideological thought is absolutely wrong. I can't really be too critical, I think, because we haven't reached the stage that they have in America where it is full on fascism. Like, we're not there just yet. We don't support drug dealers. But the Christofouli government is unrepentant about its tough stance on drugs. It has been the policy of the government since prior to the election that we do not support pill testing, drug checking services, either public or private. Health Minister Tim Nicholls told Parliament this week. Obviously, because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. We made that decision abundantly clear well before the election. I love when they just admit that, yeah, they don't really have much going for their argument, though. It is pure ideology. We don't support drug dealers. There's no safe way to take drugs. Dude, that is like the dumbest thing to say. That is so stupid. Like, if any let's be real, let's actually imagine how this is going to go. If you got a drug off a drug dealer and you want it and it was like MDMA, as far as you were aware, it's MDMA, or it's like, I don't know, E or whatever, E's, like, and then you want to be double sure, you go to one of these places where you can get your drugs checked, you find out, no, it's actually been cut with something else. Are you going to go back to the guy? Probably not. Now, granted, you're probably going to go to another drug dealer, but at least the shit ones, or I don't know, the nefarious ones, are going to be more singled out. I believe the libertarians have a thing for this, letting the open market, the free market, decide. Ugh. we don't support drug dealers. There's no safe way to take drugs. So what, you're gonna make every hospital not be able to give you like medication? Is that the idea? Is that what you're going for? Like that is so ridiculous. Only the Labour Party backed drug dealers in this. Ah! Yep, classic. That's the classic LNP dog eat dog fucking flinging shit bullshit I've heard before. Hmm. Very smart. Does not support taking drugs. Thank you. Very intelligent. Very intelligent advice. Information scrubbed from website. In 2023, 310 unintended drug-induced deaths. I actually saw a Libertarian Party candidate get booed at a Libertarian Party for saying it should be illegal to sell heroin to a 50-year-old. Yep, I remember that. That's right. That was, oh God, that's OG shit. That was like, I don't remember the year in which it actually happened, but I remember that guy was the candidate. To be fair, he also got booed for supporting drug. Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, he was the sensible one, and he didn't even know where fucking Aleppo was. I don't know where Aleppo is. I think it's in Syria. Like, that's the thing with, like, because let's be real, the Libertarian Party in America, they're like ANCAPs. They're not even libertarians anymore. Because because I, like, at least the impression I always had was that libertarians were like, yeah, they were all about personal freedom, you know, and for companies, from the government. But it didn't necessarily mean they were anti-driver's licenses. But then, yeah, I guess the ANCAP, they love to one up each other, and they love to be like, I am the most freedom pilled. And yeah, that was crazy making it illegal to sell heroin to a 15-year-old. And then that guy, again, was still fucking batshit crazy on a lot of things. It's just he wasn't that batshit crazy. The problem with libertarianism is that it is the most obvious political ideology if you're just kind of a dumb guy. Yeah, yeah, or a kid. Or a kid. In the US, libertarian and ANCAP are almost used. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very true. I think it really just comes down to online versus offline. Like a lot of ANCAPs call themselves libertarians to distinguish themselves from anarchists like mutualists and egoists. Hmm. Yeah, I just go, so like, you're a loser. No. No, I just always say ANCAP then. Because it's like, let's be real. The funny thing about the libertarian ideology is by the time they would even get close to starting to like establish their apparent like perfect idealized society in their ANCAP world, they'd be dead. They'd be fucking killed. Because who's gonna stop them? The other people from killing you. Anyways, in 2023, 310 unintended drug-induced deaths were reported in Queensland, a 5% increase in 5 years. That's actually really, oh shit. That's higher than the road toll of 274 people in the same year. Rates of unintended drug overdose fatalities in the state increased from 3.3 deaths per 100,000 population 2003 to 5.6 per. Okay, so it's increased. Despite those deaths outstripping road fatalities in Queensland, information about pill testing on the state health department's website has been stripped back on orders from yeah, well, of course, yeah, the LMP's very anti-drug shit. Like they just want you to die. They just basically think if you've gotten hooked on drugs that you may as well just die. get good is their attitude. Searching the website for information about drug checking services once provided links to useful stuff. All three bodies were involved. Yeah, but those links have been recently scrubbed. Yeah, wow, so they're just deleting stuff. Like other state government departments, the Queensland Health website spouts the government's mantra, delivering for Queensland. Um, the problem is that instead of eradicating government, you just end up with corporate fat cats being the dictators. Oh wait, that's already happening in America. Well, yeah, that that's it's why it's like what you said. It's why it makes sense to only the dumb people because it's just like very surface level. Don't tell me what to do. Fuck you, and I won't do what you tell me. And like on that level, you can appreciate and respect that. But it's just the fact they never go any further. They never think any further. They think that society as it is right now would continue if we somehow took the government out of it and just filled that in with private market solutions. Also, without a government to regulate the dollar, capitalism just simply. Oh yeah, no. I mean, it's the same with like protecting private property. You can't protect private property. Private property can't truly be protected without a government because then it's just down to who has the biggest gun, which is just lawlessness. Um, yeah. They're fun though, aren't they? They're a fun group. They try. They try real hard. But with drug overdose deaths on the rise, if pill testing cannot be the answer, the Christopher government faces pressure from the opposition and health experts to find an effective alternative to protect some of the state's most vulnerable citizens. No, they don't. They don't need to do that. They'll just not. Oh, that's the end of it. Okay, fair. I think they'll just not. I mean, I could be wrong, but yeah, well, they've really significantly changed that. Damn. So both, well, this on top of what the Queensland government did in regards to what was it? Trans healthcare for under 18s or 16s, I can't remember the exact age. We're unfortunately having a bit of our own moment of not believing in science or the scientific method, which has always been unfortunate, to put simply. Um, just quickly pause that one. Yep, cool. So the next thing, it's not even like a science thing really. It's Palestine. Um, boy. Yeah, cool, good enough. Alright, so yeah. Anthony Albo, the old Albo boy. He announced that we're recognizing Palestinian statehood at historic UN summit, joining 9 world leaders. All right, let's see how committed we are as a country to this idea. Anthony Albanese has addressed world leaders at the UN, outlining the reasons for Australia's recognition of Palestinian statehood at a historic conference in New York. Similar proclamations were made by leaders or government ministers from the UK, Canada, France, Andorra. I don't even. Wait, I'm gonna have to find that one out. Andorra, Belgium, Luxembourg, Malta, Monaco, and Portugal. Where is Andorra? Okay, it's in Europe. Are you kidding me? That that's Andorra? That's not even a country. What is the point of that one? Man, Europeans are so weird. Um, just do what we do and just throw it all in together. What's next? A two-state solution is still widely considered well out of reach for now. Israel. Ooh. ABC, which is committing genocide per UN Commission finding last week, is continuing its attacks on Gaza unabated. I may have not read an ABC article on um, Gaza for a while, but that feels like a bit of a noticeable difference there. Maybe I'm off with that. Albanese and 9 other leaders have formally told the UN their nations now recognize a Palestinian state after refusing to do so for decades. I was going to say as well, like, what are you recognizing at this point? You can barely recognize the fucking ground. You can barely recognize anything there. It's been destroyed. Like, I follow a few different people who are actually in Palestine, in Gaza to be specific, and not that I can know them. I just, I've seen their accounts. I want to see what they're showing, and sometimes they'll be like in a building, and they'll like look around with the phone, and you just sort of like, oh wow, there's still some buildings. Remembering that, oh yeah, this is like an extremely urbanized area because it's had to be because it's been trapped in this place. But then, like, unfortunately, like, you see footage where then like shit's getting blown up again, or I think one of them was like literally saying how they were getting like they were getting the leaflets coming down to say to evacuate again, and it was like the third time in like a few days or whatever, and the area is totally unrecognizable. Not that I know what it looked like, but it's just rubble. It's just rubble. It means the number of countries that now recognize Palestine has grown to at least 157 of 193 UN member states. How many do you need? Because that's why did it need the other 10? Like, you already had a clear majority. The historic, hang on. The historic move attracted fresh criticism from the White House, I bet, which said it represented more talk and not enough action from some of our friends and allies. Oh, yes. The thing that's fun now is before we had the restraint, like professional, let's do this slowly but surely approach by the Biden Democrat government. And now with Trump, it's like complete, we're going back to complete lack of awareness, complete like bloodthirstiness. And even though sometimes Israel does something that Trump's a bit like, he gets a bit on his goat. Outside of then, they're pretty still full whole-throatedly just in it for Israel, and you just hear some crazy shit. But so far, threats for American retaliation has been limited to a relatively small group of Republican politicians, after US President Donald Trump effectively agreed to disagree with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer on his recent visit to England. Mr. Albanese made the declaration before dozens of other world leaders at the UN, co-hosted by France and Saudi Arabia, but it was at New York. How does that work? In recognizing Palestine, Australia recognizes the legitimate and long-held aspirations of the Palestinian people. I guess you probably have to say long-held aspirations, but like, it just makes it feel so obvious that all these people like understand from the get-go what it was, and it's just now they're at the stage where they have the political capital and ability to do this, which is still realistically just like today's best version of a patch up of a band-aid solution. That means more than a seat, a voice, and a vote in the councils of the world. It means real hope for a place they can call home. Mate, mate, my mate. Fucking Albo, mate. There are no more homes. They're gone. They can't call the place. They can barely call the place home. More than a seat, they can't fucking find any seats. This is the same hope that sustained generations of Jewish people. Mate, I don't know if now is the time to remind folks about the Holocaust. Like, no matter which way you're wanting to go about this, either you're putting an impression in people's head like, so you guys are doing the Holocaust, which is a fascinating admission. It's a very interesting choice to make. Is this something that you feel you can do in the UN because you're over there in New York in the UN? You can't say that here just in case a few too many Aussies might get the wrong idea that Israel is not the best people. But also like this is the same hope that's like, bro, you're talking about Palestine. Like they're I know it's Jewish. It's not Jewish. It's Zionist. But you know what I'm saying. Like we know what they're implicitly getting at. Australia's position was matched by the UK, Canada, France, Andorra. Again, Andorra. But, is there like 5 people in Andorra? French President Emmanuel Macron opened the meeting with a statement that gave effect to French recognition of Palestinian statehood for the first time. Do they mean it gave effect because it's like we have no idea what the fuck he was saying? He was French. He was speaking French. Come on, man. We're in New York. Speak English. Or at least Spanish. Nothing justifies the ongoing war in Gaza. Notice that they still call it a war, according to an official translation. On the contrary, everything compels us to definitely end it. So it's this. This isn't the best. Has my thing been working? Yeah. I'm gonna try and maybe. Let's put this here. I don't know if that's a good idea or not. But not the best shading here. Colors. All right. 157 of the 193 UN member states recognize the state of Palestine. Yeah, I mean, some would say in a democracy that would be considered a pretty good win, pretty good hard majority there. So I don't know why America. Wait, what? Why didn't I get? Oh, okay, it's only showing for those that aren't that are committed. Oh, interesting. New Zealand isn't. Really? What did? Why don't the Kiwis like Churchtown, Church. What is it called again? What's the place called in bloody New Zealand? Churchtown? Christchurch. Church Christ? Christchurch. Christchurch? Yeah. Forgot for a moment. Yeah, that's where they had the shooting. Anyway, criticisms of genocide follow UN findings. Many of the Western leaders who spoke at the conference voiced support for a ceasefire. Oh, really? Did you notice that none of them have worked so far? The unhindered flow of aid into Gaza and an end to settler violence and settler expansion into the West Bank. However, most steered clear of accusing Israel of genocide. Ah, there we go. Despite the clear findings of a UN Commission of Inquiry last week. The commission backed the world's major human rights groups and top genocide scholars in in concluding Israel was committing genocide. Was, is, whatever. However, Spain's... Oh, who's that? Oh, Saudi Arabia, Foreign Minister, yeah. However, Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez... Is it really that? I'm not up to date with the leader of Spain, evidently. Said his country would adopt measures to halt the genocide and warned history would harshly judge those who turned a blind eye. Spain's... I can't remember. Spain's been like more based on this, right? They're kind of like Ireland on this issue. Um, Irish Prime Minister. Yep. Okay. Well, that's what it sounds like. Irish Prime Minister Michael Martin, whose country joined Spain, Norway, and Slovenia in recognizing Palestinian statehood last year, said we have reached a point where what has been incredibly described as a genocide is being carried out in front of the eyes of the world. Mr. Albanese said Israel must accept its share of responsibility for the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza and noted that tens of thousands of people had been killed, including aid workers and journalists. It's not perfect, but he's, I guess, trying. The bar is so low. He also criticized the expansion of Israeli settlements and Israeli, settlements and settler violence in the West Bank, and Israeli threats to annex parts of Palestine and permanently displace Palestinians. Some other nations were far more critical. As the Commission of Inquiry on the Occupied Palestinian States pointed out, there is no more appropriate way to describe what is happening in Gaza than genocide, Brazilian President Lula da Silva said. What is happening in Gaza is not only the extermination of the Palestinian people, but an attempt to annihilate their dream of a nation. Ooh. Palestinian president live streamed. Wait, what? Palestinian president live streamed in after US blocked visa. Ah, yes, the Palestinian Authority. President Mahmoud Abbas addressed the conference via video link from the West Bank after the US refused to give him and his delegation a visa to attend. He thanked those countries changing their positions to recognize Palestine and assured them that the authority would meet conditions imposed in exchange. Yeah, that's right. There's a whole set of conditions they have to meet. Hamas and other factions must surrender their weapons to the Palestinian Authority. Yep. Germany, Italy, and Japan are among the countries holding out on recognizing Palestinian statehood. Not surprised. Japanese told the conference it was a matter of when, not if. When, not if what? Recognizing? Come on, man. Mr. Macron said the small European nation of San Marino would also formally recognize Palestine on Monday US time. Why does Macron get to speak for him? Speak for them. That's weird. The conference on the first day of the UN General Assembly's annual gathering of world leaders follows the adoption of the New York Declaration by the Assembly earlier this month. Described as a roadmap towards a two-state solution, the declaration was supported by 142 UN member countries, including Australia. 10 voted against, including the US and Israel, well, of course, and 12 abstained. Pushback in US and Australia. America's opposition has created significant barriers and makes the establishment of a Palestinian state unviable in the near term. And Australia's move to recognise Palestine has been met with fierce pushback from the conservative side of politics, both in Australia and the US. Yes, well, I was then going to look at the fact that oops, the fact that Susan Ley has written directly to Donald Trump's Republican allies to say most Australians oppose Prime Minister Anthony Albanese's decision to recognise Palestine, throwing a spanner in the works of his high-wire diplomatic mission to the US. Because, if I just go back here, was this the one? Yeah, there was a moment where this is unrelated, but the mentioning of Macron has reminded me that Candace Owens has said she will stake her reputation on Macron's wife secretly being transgender. Of course she would. Of course she would do that. That sounds just like her. The insane thing is we know this to be false because she was his. Yeah, true. Yeah, she was his school teacher when he was 13, 15, when they began. Yeah, that was a bit weird. Yeah, I mean, look, it's the French. Not to say it's okay because they're French, but just it's the French. Um, the White House has all but confirmed there will be no one-on-one meeting between U.S. President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Anthony Albanese in New York during the United Nations General Assembly this week. I don't know if this is the article or the who. Macron. What's the T? Ah! Um, the T, if you will. Hang on, let me see if I can quickly. Macron's wife. That should give it to us. Bridget Macron. So, President Macron of France, who, to be fair, average French. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's not that it's okay because they're French. It's that what do you expect? They're French. They're fucking degens. Um, what is a French former teacher and wife of Emmanuel Macron, the incumbent president of France. Where, at what point do you consider it to be her early life? Macron, at the time, Bridget, whatever that is, taught literature at the college there in Strasbourg in the 1980s. By 1990s, she was teaching French and Latin at Jesuit high school and there. Um, from 2007 to 2015, she taught at that place in Paris, one of the most prestigious French private schools. At that institution, she was the French teacher of them. It was at the after school drama club where she and Emmanuel first met. She was in charge of the after school theatre club he attended when he was 15 alongside her own daughter, Lawrence, who was in his class, which normally people would normally the Macron in this scenario would be going out with the daughter. But no, we had a bit of a Stacy's mum moment and we went a few steps too far. Never ask your favorite French philosopher or writer about any petitions they signed in the 70s. Oh shit, really? Is that a thing? Oh dear. Um, Alongside their relationship has attracted controversy as she is his senior by close to 25 years and he was a minor. You don't say. Macron has described it as a love, often clandestine, often hidden, misunderstood by many, but before imposing itself. Ah. It's not even the weirdest shit you get out of Europe too, honestly. Like, this is... It's what you get, you know? Oh, described her style as similar to that of an Essex girl. Um, for it's roughly 24 hours. Yeah, has listed his meetings with no mention of Anthony Albanese. Mr. Trump will have bilateral meetings with the UN Security General and the leaders of Ukraine, Argentina, and the European Union. He will also attend a bilateral meeting with Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, Turkey, or whatever it is, Pakistan, Egypt, and the United Arab Emirates and Jordan. Oh yeah, so that's like the Muslim ones. My word, yeah, you don't say. The Australian Prime Minister will at least have a chance for a handshake and interaction at a welcome reception being hosted by Trump for more than 100 world leaders on Tuesday night. So tonight. Well, I guess a bit later for America. So it's literally that scene out of the fucking South Park episode in the recent season where they're all just handing him giving him a handshake, giving him a gift, telling him his dick's not that big. Telling his dick's much bigger than he thinks. Whatever. The White House press secretary also gave a taste of what to expect from first Justice. It will be a major speech starting renewal of American strength, his historic accomplishments in 8 months, including the ending of 7 wars and conflicts. Ah. It keeps increasing the amount of wars. The amount of wars he's ended. He will also use his address. Okay. Now we're delving more into the Trump aspect. That's not necessary. So yeah, back to Susan Ley. Wrote this thing to the Republicans amidst Anthony Albanese's like trip there to America, which fuck man, this has been probably the worst tour to America this guy's ever done. Any Australian could ever do. The unorthodox move to make clear internationally the opposition's rejection of Australian foreign policy came after 25 senior congressional Republicans wrote to Albanese and okay, it's not just Alba, and leaders of France, Britain, and Canada threatening unspecific punitive measures for jointly recognizing Palestine. Oh my God. It's all going to come to a head at some point in some way. Like, not that it's going to be good, but someone's gonna get the shit whacked out of them. Oh God. The letter from Republican lawmakers upped the stakes for Albanese as he arrived in New York for the United Nations General Assembly. The forum is being used by longtime allies of Israel to elevate the Palestinian cause, partly in protest at the Israeli government's military campaign. Still calling it a military campaign. At the same time, the Prime Minister is working to secure a meeting with Trump. Well, we know that never happened. Possibly at a welcome dinner hosted by the President. Yep. Oh, well, that's to happen, I guess. Australia's pro-Palestine stance is one of the... The fact this is a pro-Palestine stance. Ah. Oh. Let this be a lesson. This is how liberalism goes. This is how it goes. One day we will all be against this. Is one of the several points of difference with the US administration, which argues the recognition campaign encourages Hamas. Oh, okay, I get it. That's the US saying that. Of course they would. Given the concerns raised, I write to assure you in Congress and the Congress that this decision taken at this time by the Labour government does not enjoy bipartisan support here in Australia. Ley wrote in her letter to Republicans, including former presidential hopeful Ted Cruz, Senators Rick Scott, Tom Cotton. Oh yeah, the real fucking racist guy. That guy. Trump's original choice to serve as U.S. ambassador to the UN. Oh. They added the federal opposition opposes this decision and would reverse it if should we form government. Lay's cause call to intervene from Australian shores reflects the depth of domestic disagreement over Gaza, of course. It is also important to note it does not reflect the view of a majority of Australians. Oh, I bet we love our babies getting blown up. According to the reputable Resolve Political Monitor, just 24% of Australians support recognising Palestine. Don't worry, it's only 1 in 5 of us, or a little more than that. In the August poll cited by Lay, Resolve reported that while a quarter of voters supported Australia recognising a Palestinian state regardless of who holds power in Gaza, a third said recognition should wait until key conditions are met. In September, Australians were evenly split on Albanese's plan to recognise Palestine at the UN meeting, with 29% of Australians supporting and opposing the move respectfully. What? "42% said, oh, okay, so about 29 said they support, 29 said they don't support, 42% said they were unsure or had no opinion, suggesting the issue is not a high priority for many voters." Yeah, of course it fucking isn't. How do you not have an opinion at this point? Like, just an opinion. So many motherfuckers are so willing to throw their opinions around like they're worth gold. And then there's cunts who can't even make one. You can't even have one. After 2 years of this. Other polls, not cited by Lay, conducted by differently worded questions, have found much higher support for recognition. Oh. In this time of global uncertainty, I want to affirm that millions of Australians remain committed to our enduring friendship with the United States and our alliance. Yeah, we really are committed to our enduring friendship. Like, it will not matter how crazy or not crazy the LNP here will try and present themselves up to the next election and whatnot, but just do remember they will pander to America. It's not even just they will pander to Israel, because of course, but like they'll pander to Trump. Oh boy, will they. I mean, I guess so is Albo to an extent, but I mean, shades of grey. In this time of global uncertainty, we cannot allow our relationship to drift, which we have unfortunately seen under our current Prime Minister, including on the matter you have raised. Literally, like, trying to, like, reason with a bunch of children. Like, now, I know the other guy right now who's in charge is really upsetting you all. But we promise there can be a difference. We can make a difference. Lay finished her letter by stating her intention to travel to the US for talks in December. Fuck. Wait, can she? In July, Albanese slammed coalition figures for attacking his trip to China, suggesting they were breaking with convention to criticize a prime minister overseas. I mean, come on, Albo. You can come up with a better response than that. The coalition is opposed to the government's decision to use recognition as a tool to spark an elusive peace progress. Previously, both parties viewed Palestine statehood as the end result of a peace process when borders were agreed. Ah, so it's like we're now doing the flip. The US lawmakers' letter said proceeding with recognition will put your country at odds with long-standing US policy and interests and may invite punitive measures in response. Was that it? Was that like all that they said? It was basically like, watch your fucking back. This is a reckless policy that undermines prospects for peace, it said. It sets the dangerous precedent that violence, not diplomacy, is the most expedient means for terrorist groups like Hamas. Are you fucking kidding me? After Israel bombed Qatar in an attempt to kill the Hamas leaders who were doing the negotiations for the ceasefire. Oh, These people are such scum. They're such fucking scum. They're so evil. They get discounts on Russian bots if they're on good terms with US conservatives. Trade party sucking up to Trump while I'm the money. Yeah, basically. Oh, this is just in r/Aussie, so it's not like a lefty area, lefty subreddit. There was one last thing I wanted to show in regards to the Palestine news, basically. Actually, hang on, let me just make sure that we've also finished all the good stuff out of this. Yeah, pretty well. Cool. Statehood is a right, not a reward. Oh, that's a good way of putting things. We looked at that already. Oh, didn't want to play that just yet. Just to remind yous of, again, because the theme of today, I guess, if you will, is fuck science. Science is dead. Faith and just blind trust is in. I will probably have to go after this video, unfortunately, but I am going to try and do a part 2 sort of thing because I just have like the briefest of like other things I have to go off to do. I have to leave kind of thing. But so hopefully can be back again and we can keep it going because I really want to look at that rapture stuff. But yeah, so Huckabee, he was the US ambassador to Israel, so for reference, says Jews are God's chosen people. Now, we've heard this one before. We've heard that kind of shit before. It literally says it in the Bible. But I saw this, like, just a little bit of it, 3 days ago, basically. It would have been when it originally came out. And I found it deeply concerning.
It was 4,000 years ago here in this city, on Mount Moriah, where God chose his people. He not only chose a people, but he chose a place. And then he chose for the people in this place a purpose. The people were the Jewish people. The place was Israel. And the purpose was to be a light to the world and to show that we don't have to look for God because he is looking for us. It was David, the king and the psalmist, who said in Psalm 137 and verse 5, "If I forget you, O Jerusalem, may my right hand forget its skill." The Jewish people never forgot that this was their land, their home, their undivided, indisputable, indigenous capital from eternity. Tonight, the stones are crying out. The crowds may say it, but the stones absolutely and 100% validate that the Jewish people not only belong here now, but they have belonged here for 4,000 years, since the time God said to Abraham, "This is yours. Take good care of it. And you'll be a blessing to the people around the earth." And even to those of us who aren't even Jewish. He says, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And I come here tonight because I'd rather have...
If anyone remembers, that was the thing that Ted Cruz said when he was talking to Tucker Carlson. And even Tucker Carlson called that out.
A blessing than a curse. This extraordinary piece of archaeological mastery is a validation and a truth, and it is shouting from the top of the mountain that this is indeed the eternal home of the Jewish people, the Jewish state, and the people who rightly belong here. And tonight the rest of the world comes to say, welcome home, and may no one ever, ever attempt to take your home from you. It is yours.
So I mean, it's one guy saying that, but he is the ambassador from the US, so it's basically Trump's words. Whatever that matters for. But yeah, nothing that a bunch of Zionist Israelis are gonna love to hear more than a uh, a previous pastor, preacher, evangelical preacher, whatever. Now, fucking ambassador telling them that because it was written in a book from thousands of years ago or whatever, therefore this land has been theirs for even longer. There's nothing they want to hear more than that. Um, oh, but you know, like I said, science is out the window. We don't really care about that anymore. Facts under feelings, and fuck your facts. Love your feelings. I don't know. It's not looking fucking good, if you ask me. I'm more at the moment. I'm more so interested, I guess you would say, in the language they're using to justify things, and that's why I'm looking at mainly the more religiosity aspect of this. Because even though religion really doesn't play much of a like it shouldn't be playing that much of a role at the end of the day, obviously it's something that Israel and America want it framed that way because it's a lot easier to have people tune out that way because then you have the attitude of like, oh, well, it's not my problem. And then also you got the fact that the evangelicals are very much wanting all this to be set up this way so that one day Jesus will come down again, apparently, to Israel and all of the Jews so that the rapture happens. Which on that, we will be looking at that next time when I'm back, which hopefully should only be like, I don't know, an hour, hour and a half tops. So that'll be fun and very funny. So yeah, I'm gonna first stop recording. And now I'm just